How you doing today? My name is Joe, and this is 1530 Apologetics. Well, I thought today we would start off with a precursor to say that my job is to intellectually think about people's worldview, and does it make sense? As we establish on this scale of weights, we're going to put on it truth. And on this truth, we're going to put history, science, archaeology, evidence, philosophy, theology, a little bit of experience. And then we're going to look at the reality of this world as we know it, and does it make sense? So for today, we are going to talk about how did we come up with this God that's all powerful, all knowing, that's personal. How did we form a relationship, and how did we know his attributes? And most of all, how did God know that here in the 21st century, that his word, compared to all the other gods that have been mentioned throughout history, his definition for who he is and his attributes and his nature are more consistent, more justifiable than any other God that we know in history. So first we're going to talk about the God of the Bible. Remember, when it started off, no one knew who he was. He came down to reveal himself to mankind. And as he revealed himself, we got to take a look of who he is. And so that takes us right in the beginning of the Bible. As you see, I like to use the blue letter Bible that I have from the internet. I like to use the BibleGate Bible right here. And what I like about these is that we can do a whole lot of studying. So first of all, I want to turn to Genesis 1:1. The very first verse of the Bible I want to take a look at, and I want to see what it says about the God that we serve. Right from the beginning, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Okay, so it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Right from the get-go, we need to see in the beginning God. Who is this God that talks about him right in the beginning? We can go into the tools, and it's right here we get the Strongs that begin to reveal to us definitions of the Hebrew language. So we get to the word in the beginning, God. The word God is Elohim, and we can turn here to Hebrews 4:30. As we click on that, we'll see the word Elohim. Now, if we want to, we can have it explain itself. We can hit this and it gives us a definition at least. But what I want to look at, Elohim is a masculine noun, plural. Sometimes we could use the root word if we need it. And I have looked that up before. But I want to come down here. And down here, as we go down to the bottom, I want you to see what it says here. It's a masculine noun, and yet it's plural. This word Elohim is plural. And it's plural intensive, but singular in meaning. So it's plural intensive, but singular in meaning. And I like that when I look at Elohim. The reason is because this is the very beginning of the Bible, and here God is describing who he is. And as we go further, we can go to let's go to Deuteronomy 6:4. So Deuteronomy 6:4. And it tells us here, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now, if we take a look at that, let's find out what it means. 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. If we look at that in the Strongs, we pull up the tools here, and it says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord. You got to notice the Lord's all capital. Anytime you see 3068, it's going to mean Jehovah. Really, it would mean, really, if we went to the King James Version, it would actually mean Yahweh without the vowels in it. So YHWH would be the word that we use. Why do I say that? Because we know that we know that there were no vowels until closer to the 1st century. And so when we look at YHWH, let me check that out. YHWH, we can just look that up on a Google search. Is Yahweh, YHWH. It's the Tetragrammaton, YHWH. Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, whose name was revealed. So really that was the word YHWH without the vowels. And it was later on that we're told that the vowels were put in closer to the 1st century, 500, 400 AD. And we can talk a lot about that word that really no one knows how to pronounce it. We threw in the vowels in it, but we don't really know how it's pronounced. And so when someone like Jehovah Witnesses want to come up and say, oh, it's Jehovah, and we got the true God meaning, the true word, no, you're probably not even pronouncing it right for all you know, let alone maybe not even spelling it right. And so that's another story though. But I want you to take notice that when we go to Deuteronomy 4, it's that word Yahweh, YHWH. They got Jehovah here because we have the V as we got later on in our translations. We were able to come up with a V here, but it's all capital. The Lord our God, the Jehovah Elohim is Echad, is one. The Lord Jehovah. And so we see that the Lord thy God is one, and there's no mistake about it, that the Lord God is one. Now, when we go to, for instance, we know that when Moses met up with God in the burning bush, he asked him, who do I tell them you are when they ask me who sent me? And he says, tell them that I am that I am. And this is the reason why when we go into the New Testament, we can go to John chapter 8. We can go to verse 58, and here is when Jesus is down on earth as a historical figure, and he's talking to the religious rulers of the day, and he goes on to say this. Let's go to 58. John 8:58. Jesus said to them, most assuredly I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. And we can see here on 57, then the Jews said to him, you are but 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham? The reason why they're saying that is in verse 56 up here. It says, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day. This is Jesus talking to the religious rulers. And he saw it and was glad. And the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and you say you've seen Abraham? I mean, this is 2,000 years ago. And Jesus said to them, most assuredly I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Emi imago. Imago Dei, Imago Dei, Emi Imago, I am. And so we see Jesus using the same type of word that God used when he was talking to Moses. And so we can put this together, guys, and we can say this, that God is a God that's one God, that we could not put two gods. And so I thank you for your time, and I pray that you are moved to study your word, and I pray that God's speed would be upon you. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. I'm out.